Whoever you are, we welcome you. Wherever you're from, we welcome you. Whomever you love, we welcome you. We welcome you, everyone.
It is so good to be together with you and to be here in this space we have loved and cared for 150 some years. And this is a home, very much a homecoming as we celebrate water communion and ingathering this morning. So in that spirit, I say welcome, welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Kent. I'm Reverend Stephen, the minister of this congregation. Thank you for joining us this morning, both in person and on Zoom, as we are a spiritual community gathering that seeks to be diverse and inclusive as we inspire love, work for justice, and grow together in community. All right, once again, welcome. Now, let's take a moment to just breathe, to center ourselves, to be fully present this beautiful morning. As we enter this time of community once again, let's invite Spirit to be present among us and to open our hearts to life. Come, let us worship together.
Dum ticka dum dum dum, dum ticka dum dum dum. Dum ticka dum 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 ticka dum dum dum.
The river is a healer. The river is a sage. The river knows no end and the river feels no age. The river is a leader every single day. It's living in the moment and it always finds a way. Water, heal my body. Water, heal my soul. When I go down to the water, by the water I feel whole. The river calls me over. It's calling out my name. In the day and in the night I hear that river all the same. It's calling me over, calling out my pain. Oh, the river gathers tears just like a river gathers rain. Water, heal my body. Water, heal my soul. When I go down to the water, by the water I feel whole. Water, heal my body. Water, heal my soul. When I go down to the water, by the water I feel whole.
A river is a traveler, always on the go. A river never worries if it's fast or if it's slow.
River, take me to where I need to go. Oh, I will just relax and let the river flow. Water, heal my body. Water, heal my soul. When I go down to the water, by the water I feel whole. Water, heal my body. Water, heal my soul. When I go down to the water, by the water I feel whole. Water, heal my body. Water, heal my soul. When I go down to the water, by the water I feel whole. Water, heal my body. Water, heal my soul. When I go down to the water, by the water I feel whole. When I go down to the water.
once again. We bring into this room all of those that have gone before us and with the promise of what we will one day become. We come as a community of all ages, from many walks of life, and we choose to be together today, here, now. In this physical space of our beloved sanctuary, or the sacred space that is your comfy couch at home. But more importantly, we come together here because we share a deep and abiding love for this beloved community, a love for each other that weaves together the hopes and dreams of people. We come as individual rivers and streams coursing toward the ocean of possibility before us. Two, as John Denver wrote in his love song to the ocean, work in the service of life and the living, in search of answers to questions unknown, to be part of the movement and part of the growing, part of beginning to understand. This morning we come together for this, our ingathering, as we do each year, to recommit to continuing this journey together, a journey of service and a journey of questions, a journey of movement and a journey of growing together. For this journey, will you bring your unique self, your passions, your hopes, and your dreams, and the gifts that you have to share?
As we gather in this sanctuary, once again, a space we make sacred with our presence, our hopes, and our dreams and our love. As a symbol of gathering here once again, I invite Meredith and Franklin to bring our chalice forward. All right. Perfect. Thank you. It's heavy, isn't it? All right, you guys want to stay for the chalice lighting? All right. As Unitarian Universalists, we light a flame within a chalice to unite us in worship, to remind us of our ongoing search for the light of truth within us and among us, and to symbolize the light we create as a community. For those of us on Zoom, I invite you to light your home chalice as Meredith and Franklin light our shared chalice. Would you join me now in the words of the chalice lighting, which were adapted from Katie Galfand? The words are on the screen or in your order of service. We gather together to celebrate our fountains of joy, to hold each other through storms of grief, to guide one another through rapids of transformation, to rest together on ponds of stillness. As we light our chalice, symbol of our reunion, we honor the spirit of water, its many forms, and its life-giving essence. And now I would invite you to enter into a spirit of prayer. With gratitude to the courageous band of Universalists who began this congregation in 1866, with gratitude to those who through the years have nurtured and sustained this spiritual home with the gifts of time, energy, and with gratitude to the spirit of life that fills us with possibility and abundance, we rededicate this sanctuary, our spiritual home. May this be a place where we welcome everyone, embracing diversity as together we explore the mysteries of life and walk in covenant toward a future that is ours to create together. May this be a place where we grow in mind and spirit as together we make meaning of life and seek to live with meaning and purpose. May this be a place where we encounter the beauty of humanity and we cherish the beauty of the natural world. May this be a home where we lead in social justice by reaching out in service and solidarity. May we rededicate ourselves to making our own hearts and our greater communities more just and compassionate. May this be a house where the generations come together as we minister to one another, sharing joys and sorrows and celebrating together the events and seasons of our lives. May this be a place of memory and hope, where we celebrate our past while creating our present and dreaming our future. With love and gratitude, we renew our commitment to the work of caring for this beloved home, so that it will be a house of love and hope, of joy and community for our children, for their children, and for the generations to come. May it be so, and in the love that is the spirit of the church, together we make it so, and together we say, Amen. One of the best gifts we can give ourselves in our busy lives and in these challenging times is to care for our spiritual lives. Each week together we create a time of shared stillness for prayer, for reflection, for gratitude, for meditation, or to simply be, in order to remember who we truly are, reflect on life, and to reconnect with the sacred mystery that is the very heart of life itself. I now invite us to enter into stillness for a time. As we enter that stillness, let us find that place of silence within us where love lives and calls us into fullness of life. I invite you to return as you're ready. This thing called life is a mystery. There are times when we experience struggle, loss, sorrow, difficulty. But we're here for one another, and in that spirit, we take time to share the sorrows, struggles, and losses in our hearts right now. If you're on Zoom and have a sorrow, loss, or struggle to share, please use the chat box. Are there any yellow cards? We hold Swanee in our hearts this morning. She shares with us that she lost her 15-year-old dog last week. Oh, Swanee, sorry. It's hard. I'm going to share with you now this prayer that's been adapted from the Reverend Gretchen Haley. Spirit that is life and love, we hear your call to collect ourselves and the hopes we have tucked away, set aside too often for another day, even as we honor the water, a symbol of our life's journey and adventures. The still water of a lake, placid and peaceful, like our lives at moments. Or the moving water of a river with rapids at other times when we hold on for dear life. Those times of struggle and sorrow and loss we have named. We know there is nothing tidy or perfect possible in this journey. Life, like water, can be many things. Sometimes dangerous and filled with risk, other times glorious and filled with beauty, sustaining us and giving us life, capable of destroying life as well. We honor the power and the wonder of water with gratitude. Spirit, we hear your call to dive into this community and its deep water of promise and possibility with all the dreams of our hearts. The struggles, the silliness, the fear, the hunger, the courage, the laughter, the work, the love. We renew the holy call to hold one another as our journey continues. May it be so. We've also experienced joy, wonder, and awe this week, moments that have lifted our spirits. Once again, if you're on Zoom, you're welcome to use the chat box to share joys with us. Also have these. Jenny shares the joy that although 3 extended family members had COVID last week and were sick, they all recovered. Yay. From the Sussman family, we got a new puppy, a golden retriever named Callie. Oh, yay. Abby Rome shares, my CTE forestry program is so fun. Climbing trees soon. Good luck and be safe and have fun. Ray Lynn, I am taking high school level Spanish in junior high. Wow. Woo, good for you. Diane Kloss shares the joy of thanking Ann Andrews for the beautiful flowers for today's service. Yes, thank you, Ann. They're lovely. Tracy Luna shares gratitude for my father's continued healing and better health. And Benny shares my gerbil won 3 4-H ribbons at the fair. Katie says, today I am presenting my 4-H project on mother cats and kittens at the fair. that goes well. And Aaron McGuire, grateful for the time spent last evening connecting with new friends from this congregation. Kara, gratitude to the Gregg family and everyone else who helped rebuild the annex deck. Yes. Yeah. Now, with gratitude for these and every blessing we receive in life, for the gift of life itself, for the companionship of each other in life's journey, for the beauty of our world, and for this day and possibility, we raise our hearts in gladness once again with the word, Amen.
Our story this morning is Rivers, written by Christopher Buse, adapted by myself. Once upon a time, there were two rivers flowing side by side. Both rivers, like siblings are wont to do, liked to argue about who was the best.
The water in my river is so much better than the water in yours.
No, the water in my river is better than the water in your river.
The two rivers would flow along all day arguing about which was the best. Both were quite sure they were the greatest.
Doesn't my water make joyful sounds as it runs over the smooth, polished pebbles on my foundation? And look at the way the sun reflects off of the ripples and eddies that form around the granite boulders at my edge. These things are so beautiful. Surely, sister, I am the best river.
Ah, but to look at the fish that swim in my clear, cool water. And have you heard the frogs singing at night? They live in the reeds and lilies that grow in my banks. I'm home to so many wonderful creatures. Surely, brother, I am the very best river.
The two continued to argue until one day something strange and unexpected happened. The rivers rounded a bend, slid down some falls, and suddenly saw that they were flowing towards something much bigger and greater than themselves. Up ahead, crashing waves and water everywhere as far as the eye could see. They continued to rush faster and faster until the water from both rivers churned together into the vast and enormous ocean. Then a sound came from the sky. It came from a cloud that chuckled for a moment and then said,
Now, beloveds, you have been arguing about who is the best. It happens. But children, there is no highest or lowest. There is no greatest or least. All things are one, and all are joined together like rivers in the sea.
The rivers paused for a moment and looked to each other.
I do love the way that the fishes and frogs in your river. Their song is quite catchy.
I do love the beautiful melodies of your water dancing over the pebbles, and the sun's reflection from your edges brings me comfort to stop and listen.
And in that moment of joining together, our two rivers realized that together they created a beauty that they could not produce alone. And so, I wonder, what flows through your river, and what beauty will we create together as an ocean? Please join in singing our Water Communion hymn, number 1007, There's a River Flowing in My Soul. This morning we celebrate Water Communion, a UU ritual that began over 40 years ago. They gathered, the women, who were angry because their voices were not being heard and their spiritual needs were not being met. They held a conference on women and religion in East Lansing, Michigan in November of 1980. No men were allowed to attend. The women came together in solidarity, awakening, reconnecting to their power, reclaiming their gender identity, seeking to make new meaning, seeking to break open Unitarian Universalism, to make it more inclusive. They did it with a simple and beautiful ritual.
Carolyn McDade, who wrote our song Spirit of Life, and Lucille Shuck Longview were asked to create a worship service for the conference. McDade recalls it was a strong service about community taking power, about creating a political and liberating theology. The two women spent a lot of time creating a service that has nature and community at its center. They named the service Coming Home Like Rivers to the Sea.
The women gathered outside in a circle and sang songs of water, and then combined water that they had brought with them into a large clear bowl. As each woman poured her water into the bowl, she said something about the significance of the water. One woman brought water she had collected from the Pacific Ocean near her home. Another brought water from the Mississippi River.
Another brought water from the Hudson Bay, and another from the Gulf of Mexico. Another woman brought rainwater she caught as it dripped from the roof of her house.
This ritual inspired these women to be more active in Unitarian Universalism and to become leaders in our movement. During that conference, the first draft of our current principles and purposes was rewritten, and the sexist language of the original principles was changed to be more inclusive and reflect the diversity of our denomination.
Now, over 40 years later, most of our UU congregations celebrate water communion around this time of year. For many congregations, water communion is also ingathering as a new church year begins. This morning, we are celebrating water communion and ingathering, blending water from many places as we join our lives in this community once again. Everyone is welcome to participate. If you didn't bring any water, there is water here you'll be able to use. And here's how it's all going to work. There will be a short reading, and then I'll invite you to bring your water from each of the 4 directions, one direction at a time. For example, if you travel to the Great Lakes or the Atlantic Ocean or anywhere east of here, east is your direction. If you are joining us on Zoom this morning, you may want to pour water at home to participate. And if you type one of the directions into the chat box, we will speak your name and pour water for you into our shared bowl. Wherever your water came from, it may have been the tap or your pet's water dish or a local river. Choose the direction that inspires you. It may be that you've taken a journey of the heart or spirit instead. Each of the directions has spiritual qualities as well. East, the direction of air, sunlight, new beginnings, and spring. South, the direction of fire, passion, inspiration, and summer. West is the direction of water, healing, harvest, sunset, and fall. And north is the direction of earth, death, completion of a life cycle, and winter. While we pour water together, there will be music that reminds us that water is sacred and that we should be pouring our water with reverence and gratitude. So we begin by pouring a little bit of water from last year's water communion. Would you do that, Colleen, please? And then after a reading, I'll invite you to pour water from the east. Mm-hmm. Ray Lynn, would you come read a piece titled Water by Philip Larkin?
Going to church would entail affording to dry different clothes. My liturgy would employ images of sousing, a furious devout drench, and I would raise in the east a glass of water, where any angled light would congregate endlessly.
Thank you. We bring the waters of the east, the waters of spring and promise, from the Great Lakes, the Atlantic Ocean and the Euphrates and Tigris rivers. These are the waters of care and tenderness that give us life and nurture us. We bring the waters of the morning with their bubbling and rushing energy. We bring waters that invite us to begin and to open our hearts to new possibilities. I invite you now to come and pour your waters of the East. Share the reading Summer in the South by Paul Lawrence Dunbar.
The oriole sings in the greening grove as if he were halfway waiting. The rosebuds peep from their hoods of green, timid and hesitating. The rain comes down in a torrent sweep, and the nights smell warm and piney. The garden thrives, but the tender shoots are yellow-green and tiny. Then, a flash of sun on a waiting hill, streams laugh that before were quiet. The sky smiles down with a dazzling blue, and the woods run mad with riot.
I forgot to share that. Stephanie, Benny, and Katie poured their waters at the east. Thank you. Now we bring the waters of the south, the waters of summer in abundance, from the Everglades, the Caribbean, and the Amazon. These are the waters of power and intense energy that drive us forward and help us to grow. We bring the waters of midday, the sometimes fair waters of summer and brown landscapes. We bring water that refreshes the parched mouth and revives the wilted spirit. I invite you now, come and pour your water of the south. Now for the waters of West. Colleen, would you share this reading, and yes, The River Waits by Sherry O'Keefe?
Well, mountain water bending around river stones is different from what I might think. He tells me this while I stand dryly on the rocky bank. Yesterday, I had flown to Washington to help pack 2 years of college stuff in one sports car and a U-Haul truck. It was past my bedtime, but I wade out to join him, knee-deep in the creek. We've been sampling water ever since we left. We already know Idaho water. At high noon, it planted a moan in the back of our dry throats, but now camping along the Blackfoot, we wait for the midnight stroke. Wouldn't the river taste better with the moon acting as our light? My toes grow numb, I shiver like a mom. He is my son, and this is why I have missed him. Tasting water is his way of coming home.
We bring the waters of the West, the waters of autumn and harvest, from the Gulf of Mexico, the mighty Columbia and Snake and Colorado rivers, and the Pacific Ocean. These are the waters of completion and fulfillment that invite us to reflect on meaning and give us wisdom. We bring the waters of evening that flow gently at the end of the day. We bring water that cleanses and soothes us. I invite you now, come, pour your waters of the West. Now I invite Trish to come and share the reading at Blackwater Pond by Mary Oliver. As we pour the waters of the north.
At Blackwater Pond, the tossed waters have settled after a night of rain. I dip my cupped hands. I drink a long time. It tastes like stone, leaves, fire. It falls cold into my body, waking the bones. I hear them deep inside me, whispering, "Oh, what is that beautiful thing that just happened?"
Thank you, Trish. We bring the waters of the north, the waters of winter and eternity, from the Boundary Waters, Lake Superior, Hudson's Bay, and the Arctic Ocean. These are the waters of rest and grace that help us prepare for what is to come and gives us peace. We bring the waters of night from the depths of the dark pool of mystery and wonder. We bring water that heals and renews us. I invite you now to come and pour your waters of the north. We pour water from the north for Becky Haynes. pour. So we pour on behalf of Kara, Liz Bright, the Gregg family, and Aaron McGuire. Okay. And then pour one last little bit of water for those who are pouring in spirit for any of the directions. Thank you, Colleen. Now, would you join me in blessing the waters? The responsive reading you will find as an insert in your order of service or up on the screen. The waters are tranquil when we affirm the interconnectedness of people everywhere, when we express our commitment to this community and to the earth in ways that call forth beauty and generate strength, and when we minister to each other with compassion. The waters rush when we embrace our imagination and our creativity, our power to unveil our old ways of thinking and to create new visions. The waters shine when we use our powers wisely and for the good, when we question and doubt, when we challenge ourselves to understand ourselves and the world around us. And when the waters storm, we consecrate our energy and loyalty to signify that we place ourselves, hearts, minds, and hands at the service of something larger than ourselves. The Spirit that is love, hold us. May this community nourish us as our journey together continues. And may we be renewed in our call, love, justice, and grow in community. May it be so. So in the spirit of being community, it is from you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. Our spiritual community is thriving in our shared life as each of us participates in the circle of giving and receiving. This is possible because of your generous gifts of money, time, and care for each other, and in recognition that we are all truly interconnected. Thank you. To help others in our community thrive, we give to agencies and organizations in Kent and beyond that serve those in need. August's special offering is for the Happy Trails Farm Animal Sanctuary. Founded in 1986, this local outreach rescues, rehabilitates, and rehomes criminally abused, neglected, and abandoned farm animals. In the spirit of gratitude for the gift of one another and this community and the abundance that makes our generosity possible, we now give and receive the offering as a sign of our shared commitment to the life and work of this congregation and beyond.
Cycles of life, blessing and strife, and the water remembers, shower and snow, blessing and woe, and the water remembers.
let's imagine a big flame burning bright. Would you join me in extinguishing that flame? We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. May we carry these in our hearts and minds until we are together again. Now, I have one announcement for you. Next Sunday, we will have our first Community Sunday, time to be together. We're going to gather in Hobbs Hall at 11 a.m., which is our usual starting time from now on, as part of our grand experiment. And we're going to do something really fun. The Gregg family is going to lead us in a chalk art festival. Yeah, so I offer you now these words of Kaylee Rice. Go forth, but return to this community where rivers of tears will be shed, where dry souls are watered, where your joy bubbles up, where your life cup overflows, where deep in your spirit you have found in this place a home. So now, blessed by this time together in which we have mingled our waters and our lives, and renewed in our commitment to journey together as a community of promise and possibility, let's go forth in joy and hope as we continue to inspire love, seek justice, and grow in community. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen. And I see the light in you.